Today I've got my bike and I'm going to do a 20-kilometer loop around the river, the north and south sides. It loops around 10 kilometers each side, and the cool thing is that the construction of the loop is just finishing this morning, so we're going to be basically me and my friend, the first people to ride this loop, so it's going to be cool. There's quite a few parks and parking areas along the trail. This morning we're going to start at Vedder Park. There, Vedder Park, and this will be the starting point for our 20-kilometer loop. And it has started raining, but that's okay. It'll keep us cool. It's a popular fishing river as well. You can see people getting ready for fishing here. They're fishing for salmon right now. So this is Vedder Park, and this is where we're starting the loop. And we're going to go counterclockwise around the loop. There's the trail, and there's the Vedder River. So we're 20 kilometers that way. So we just passed the 1 kilometer mark. There's Richard down in front. So this is the first part of the trail, which goes alongside a lot of subdivisions, residential areas in South Chilliwack here. And here's another park. It's just over a kilometre away from Vedder Park. This one's called Peach Park. It's a nice stop-off point for families with kids. They can use the playground, the picnic area. And we're waiting for a food truck to come along so that we can get some vibe and some food selling. Most of the trail is alongside the Vedder River almost the whole way. You can see the odd fishermen out there trying to snag a salmon. So here's a bit of a fishing hole, a still hole along the river with a few guys hoping for a salmon to come into the still water for a rest on its way upstream. Doesn't look like anybody's caught anything yet. There's no fish laid at their feet. And there it is right at the side of the trail. So really accessible fishing river for fishermen. They can park close by, walk down, and within a couple of minutes they're at a prime world-class fishing location. So we're about the 2.25 kilometer mark, and this is called the Peach Creek spawning channel for salmon, and the salmon come up stream and they come in here to spawn. You can see down below in the water there's a salmon there, and all the stumps, they've been placed in the channel purposely to make good habitat for the salmon. You can see a couple of salmon down there. Just slowly making their way up. They don't look that healthy right now because they've had such a long journey from the ocean. And they get a little bit discoloured, a little bit scabby when they get this far. They wouldn't be good for eating, but they're not here to be eaten, they're here to spawn and make more salmon. There's one guy, I'm going a bit further. Basically got the trail to ourselves. Yeah. Because it's a little bit wet and a little bit cooler. Lots of benches along the way. Memorial benches, lots of rest stops. ponds. There's a ton of salmon in the ponds right now. They kind of rest up there before they head up that spawning channel. The whole trail's marked with kilometre markers. We're at kilometre 3 here. So it's easy to judge whereabouts you are on the trail. And lots of off trails as well. And all the way along the trail there will be washrooms for people's convenience. And as well as the kilometre markers all the way along the trail, we have maps. So you can see your location. We started off up here at Vedder Park. We are cycling along the north side of the river. We're going to do 10 kilometres this way. This area here is called the Great Blue Heron Nature Reserve. Then we're going to go all the way up to this bridge crossing, come across, and then another 10 kilometres on the south side of the river, past some more spawning channels, even more spawning channels, and then back to this bridge over here across and back to where we started. Should take us just over an hour, I think. Although the trail comes away from the actual river bank, you can always see the river. Definitely, you can always hear the river. You're never far away. And a lot of the trail is right along the water, which makes for a real good trail riding or running or dog walking or whatever experience you want on the trail. It's a multi-use trail, so people can walk, run, jog, cycle. Equestrians are allowed on here, so you may see a horse and rider now and again. Very popular with dog walkers. Plenty of washrooms all the way along the trail if you need one. There's a bridge crossing. This is the very beginning of the spawning channels. And in the distance we've got some more habitat work to enhance the salmon spawning. It looks pretty muddy and mucky right now, but come this time next year that'll all be greened and grown in. And here's another location sign. We're at Hopedale West now. And there's the sign so that you know where you are. That's about at the 4 kilometre mark. Just after Hopedale West, the trail winds right back close to the river again. Probably not a good fishing hole this stretch because there's no fishermen. You can even cycle out on the river apparently. So the trail narrows down a little bit the further you get towards the morning, towards the, what is it, the west. Yeah, we're headed westbound now to think about that. Here's the Southern Rail of British Columbia. Here's the railway line. And the trail recently was completed to go underneath the bridge and allow people to pass through and carry on. This was part of the work that needed doing to complete the loop, which is now complete. Those blocks are for horse mounting and dismounting. And that's because if you try to ride a horse underneath that bridge, it's still low enough you would probably hit your head as you went through. So riders have to dismount and walk their horse underneath. But this is beautiful in here now, right in the middle of the forest. And we're coming up towards the Great Blue Heron Nature Reserve. Narrow. If there was a bike coming the other way, we'd have to really slow down. But it's only because of the leaves on the edge it's kind of narrowed it up. It's the middle of November. And actually the rain's gone. It was raining when I parked, but as soon as I got out of the car it stopped raining and it's beautiful now, nice and dry and cool, which is good. Stops you getting too sweaty. There's another trail bridge. And this is the entrance to the Great Blue Heron Nature Reserve right here. And back across another bridge. So quiet now, we're away from where not really a lot of parking at this stage of the trail, so you don't get a lot of people. Not as many as you would down at Vedder Park, where we started. Still alongside the river. We're around about 8 kilometers now, 8.5. Oh, I'm guessing, let's have a look. Oh, 7, we're only at 7. I'm ahead of myself. Darn it, that means another kilometer to cycle, which is awesome because we get more views and things to see along the way. Even wheelchair accessible, the whole trail. This lady is in a motorized wheelchair, armed with binoculars to come and do some bird watching. So that's really cool to see, very, very cool. Yeah, to have such a beautiful trail, so accessible to folks that are less mobile is really cool. And the whole loop, the 20-kilometer loop, is definitely wheelchair and motorized wheelchair accessible. So she's telling Richard about a couple of problem areas for the wheelchair, which is good because Richard works for the Parks Department and he can get these things fixed up. So that's good that we stumbled upon her. So at this stage of the trail, which is about 8 kilometers now, we come up from the river's edge and we come up onto that's a gravel stockpile that they take gravel from the river every couple of years. And then this is the flood protection dike. So now the trail goes on top of the dike for a couple of kilometers. And we head in the distance, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a bridge, that'll be our crossing point halfway. So this is about the only section of trail where you may come across a vehicle, because vehicles are allowed to drive on this section. So this is just about exactly the 10-kilometer mark, it's halfway. This road bridge has a sidewalk on it, so we can cross from this side of the river onto the south side of the river. So we're going to head towards the bridge and make that crossing, and then we're going to be heading back towards Vedder Park on the south side. So this is the halfway point. It's well signed, so you come up, well, you come under the bridge, up and around, past the "You Are Here" sign, and then we're going to go across the bridge on the walkway and drop down the other side. We're at the 11.5 kilometer mark on the south side, and this is the first real parking access point that you will find. This is called the number 3 road parking lot. Lots of space here for parking and biking and offloading and staging. Some more directional signage. We just passed the 13-kilometer mark. And there's 2 ways you can go. You can go on the dike, or you can go back this way, back towards the river, which is our preferred direction, of course, because it's much more scenic. And again, lots of wayfinding signs. These sections of trails are so much nicer than cycling on top of the flood protection dike. Lots of leaves down on this side of the river. Still a lot left on the trees though for November. And we are coming back to the Southern Rail train bridge, and this south side section of the trail was just completed a few weeks ago to allow the loop to continue on the south side. So now you can cycle down and go right under the bridge. That's a nice wall art there. Is it graffiti or is it wall art? I don't know. That kind of looked like wall art. A good fishing spot because quite a few fishermen around. Everything's well signed here. There's a network of trails around this area. We're in now what's known as the Brown Creek wetlands. And more bridges to come across. Here's the water coming out of the spawning channels on the south side. So the migrating salmon have to navigate those little waterfalls as they come out of the river and come up into the spawning channel. That looks like it's a good spot for fishing because I guess the salmon have to come by there. So that should be pretty I was going to say easy to catch a fish there, but I don't know. I'm not a fisherman, so I can't speak with any authority on that, but I do know that the salmon have got to navigate their way up there. And we'll carry on. And the trail's back alongside the river, which is nice. I've seen probably 30 fishermen on this ride, but I haven't seen anybody with a fish. I guess it's called fishing, it's not called catching. That's why they call it fishing. So just as I make the comment that nobody's catching, literally Less than a minute later, look at the guy reefing on his rod there. He's got a fish on. He's got one on. He's going to try and land it. Where's he gone? Oh, there. Takes a while, I guess. I've seen these guys land the fish. It can be 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Sometimes by the time the fish is tired and brought onto shore. Well, there you go. He's got a salmon on. So that's cool. And this section of trail is taking us right alongside the Vedder River campground, which is open seasonally. Swim at your own risk. Yeah, well, we're not going to try that today. It's a little bit cold in there. This is a brand new section of trail. It used to go along the dike. Used to go alongside the dike on the other side of the campground, and now it comes all the way alongside the river. So this is a nice place to stay during the summer. Right at the water's edge. Look at the fishermen down there. Wow. Obviously a good spot. So the wire mesh that you see on the bottom of all the trees along this stretch is to prevent beavers from gnawing away at the trees and chopping them down. Look at the fishermen here. Oh, here's a good example. Look at this. Here's a tree that has been eaten away by a beaver. That's a beaver damage right there, and that's why all the trees are wrapped with wire. Because the beavers would break their teeth if they tried chewing through the wire. Yeah, you can, as you ride, you can hear fish jumping everywhere. That's why it's so busy here with fishermen. So we're at about, what, 17-kilometre mark here. Just gone past the Vedder River campground. This is a beautiful little stretch of trail. Winds around. It's awesome. Moving away from the river a little bit, but we're back towards the river. Oh, you can see here. Yep, kilometre 17. So we only have 3 kilometres to go, and we'll be back at our starting point. We're almost at the end of the loop. The last 800 meters of this loop trail is on this wide concrete trail pathway. As we come down here, there's the Vedder Bridge, and across there is where we started. That's the Vedder Park. So we'll cross the bridge, and as soon as we cross this bridge, we have completed the 20-kilometre loop. We get to have a nice coffee over there at the coffee wagon. There's the Vedder River. Now this is wall art that we are driving by. Not driving, riding. Yes, we are actually on bikes still. And there's the coffee wagon in the parking lot that we started from. The bridge. So at the east end of the loop is the Vedder Bridge, and at the west end of the loop is the Keith Wilson Bridge. And it's 10 kilometres between the bridges. You ride the north side for 10 kilometres and back down the south side for 10 kilometres, and it makes this wonderful loop ride. That was absolutely awesome. Really enjoyed it. And now we're going to get a coffee. as a celebratory drink, a coffee. And that's for completing the Vedder Rotary Loop, being the first people to officially complete the loop. So if you are an outdoor walker or a cyclist, come down to Chilliwack, come down to Vedder Park or any of the other access points that we saw, and walk, run or ride the loop, because it's an awesome experience. So this morning is exactly 1 week later from when I did the inaugural ride of the Vedder River Rotary Loop Trail, and this morning is the official grand opening, so I'm heading there now. There's going to be a ribbon cut-in. Members of City of Chilliwack Council, Mayor and Council are going to be there, and there will be an official ceremony, so I'm going to attend that, and then the trail is officially open to the public.
To recognize that we are in the unceded territory of the Stole people, the people of the water, it seems fitting. This has been a project that's been in the works for a long time.
It's not unusual to see people just out on the trail on the weekend, picking up, cleaning up, you know, taking pride in this, taking ownership in this, and it really is the crown jewel here. You will not find a better recreational, educational, and environmental opportunity to get out and enjoy this close here in not just Chilliwack, but the Fraser Valley.
I also wanted to talk about the importance of this trail to Chilliwack, because in a lot of ways, other than Mount Shiam, which you can't even see today, this is a featured landmark in Chilliwack. People know.
Okay, so everyone get a pair of scissors, hold the ribbon, and I'll count down, then it's cut. Ready? 3, 2, 1. And we are officially open.